Okay, good morning, Chavre. We're going to learn from this for the 6th of Tammuz and conclude Shara Yichud Ve'emunah. And okay, let's get into it, and then we'll do the 7th of Tammuz. First, let's get up to speed here. All the divine energies flow through the divine letters, namely through the 10 utterances of creation. How then are there multitudes of creations? The Alter Rebbe explains that the letters are substitutes and exchanges which allow for many types, quote unquote, of energy to create many types of creations. In today's lesson, the 10 creative utterances, being closer to the source, are more powerful energy and general in terms of what they generate in creation. And the more these words are exchanged, transposed, or transmitted, or substituted, the more diluted the energy, resulting in lower creatures and the minutia of the universe. Well, let's see what that means. Page 118 in your Chayenu Kihein Derech Mashal. Dugmas Oir Hameir Balayla Ba'aretz Min Hayareach Va'oir Hayareach Humei Hashemesh. Here's an example. When we're talking about the letters that create the world, by way of illustration, they resemble the light that shines upon the earth at night from the moon. Where does the moonlight come from? It's a reflection of the sun. V'nimtza Oir Shal Ha'aretz Oir Oir Shel Hashemesh. So what comes out is that the light at night, which is from the moon, is actually a reflection from the sun. Exactly so, allegorically speaking, when we talk about the letters that make up the utterances, that are the flow and the life force and the light and the power that issue from Hashem, they come down to create the world from nothingness, to give them life and sustain them as long as Hashem decides they're going to stay in existence. So the general life force emanates from the utterances themselves. From this flow and mighty radiation of the utterances themselves, Hey Hashem himshech mimena toldeseha kiyetzaba v'anfel. Hashem causes its similar derivations and its offshoots to shine and issue forth. So that's why he gave the example of the moon, the reflection of, you look up, you're like, I don't see the sun, but it's brighter today because there's a big moon out there. Yeah, that's a reflection of the sun. So when there's an energy that comes from seemingly some other source, it's a reflection of Hashem's light. These offshoots are substitutions of letters that Hashem used to create the world, and uses this different combination to create different creatures. Hashem oid v'himshech v'hoidid ha'ara me'a'oris oisies. Likewise, Hashem projected the light from the letters in another manner, and caused the radiation of a radiation ha'ara to issue forth and descend from different from the diffusion of light from the letters. So then in the analogy of the moon, the moon's reflected light was a radiation of the sun's radiation. And don't forget, that came from a ray from a great distance. Alter Rebbe now speaks of a descent, one generation further removed, merely a radiation of a radiation of a radiation. Likewise, there were further descents through the chain of descent. Until completely inanimate beings such as stones and earth were created. Ushmeisein Evan, Ba'afar, Haim, Chilufim, the Chiluf, the Smurais, and their names. Afar, dirt, and Evan, stone, or earth, and stone, names being each object's life force, as mentioned in chapter 1, are substitutions of substitutions, etc., and transpositions of transpositions, one level to the next as it goes lower. Thus, the life force and existence of every created being are the letters of a particular divine utterance. In this manner, all of creation is nullified to Hashem and united with Hashem. So even though something you might think of a human being, there's a neshama breathed into that person. Obviously, Hashem created the human being. A man, an animal, okay, they don't have a soul like a man, but they're a living being. You think, what about a stone? What about the dirt? We talked about a piece of wood that's burnt down and all that's left is ash and dust. So every single thing is created by Hashem. There's a degradation of the same utterance that he spoke to bring the world into creation. It just goes down to a lower level. Everything is Hashem Echad. And that concludes this entire section of Tanya. Nishlam Chelik Sheni Bezras Hashem Yisbarach V'Yisala. This concludes the second part. With the help of Hashem, may he be blessed and exalted. So what's the takeaway? The rays of moonlight came from the moon, and the moon receives its light from the sun. Thus the moonlight you see is a ray of the it's a ray of the sun's light. God's energy too, also, it bounces off, it continues down, it goes all the way till even the smallest, tiniest bug, blade of grass, piece of dirt, and even stone. Okay, that's this last section of Shayich Emunah. We'll conclude for now. Second.